Hello everyone, Mike here with you guys once again, and it has been a long time since I made the video because it's not really been a high priority for me anymore, and this is kind of what this video is about, because I was going to do like a 10-year anniversary thing in October, because the first video I posted here, that is still here anyway, because there were videos I posted before that I removed, but the first video that is currently on this channel was posted in October of 2013. So I wanted to do this 10-year anniversary thing, and I've been putting it off because honestly, I'm not as excited about it. And I need to explain to you why I got into this channel, why I started this channel, and why I haven't been as enthusiastic or as active about it and on it as I used to be. Okay, we need to take a look at the gaming landscape back then versus today. Back then, the standard for most popular games were interactive movies, but they still had plenty of great gameplay. They still had like different types of gameplay, but the cinematics and the score and the story and the characters and the acting and all that, it was like playing a movie. And that wasn't... We commonly think of Sony as the sole developer of that, but it used to be that third parties did a lot of that. And in the 7th gen, which is when I got back into gaming after a long hiatus, that was the standard. And that's what got me back into it. Now, compare that to and that was why I started my YouTube channel, because I wanted to build a community. Not build a community, but I wanted to be a part of a group of people that had the enthusiasm that I did back in the day. And what inspired me to do that was YouTube back then. I also have to talk about YouTube back then versus today as well. YouTube back then was about posting video, just turning on a camera and talking. And it was about people giving their opinions and sharing their thoughts and their passions and all of that. That's what YouTube used to be about. And that was what inspired me. It was channels like Gamer MD83 back in the day, Scottish Warrior 92, the Legion of Geeks, channels like that turned on a camera. It was just one person just talking about their passions, and then they would discuss it in the comments. And that was what YouTube was about, and that's what interested me, and that's why I kept my format the same, because I never wanted to deviate from that. Now, most YouTube channels are labeled more like content, and they're created more like shows. Like, you have cuts and editing, music, and there's nothing wrong with that. I think it's cool that there's, that the ability to create a show is given to the hands of the people. I think that's awesome. But unfortunately, we lost, I think, the whole idea of just a person sitting in front of the camera and talking to somebody and talking to people. That personal aspect, I think, has been traded in for showmanship and entertainment and things like that. So, well, again, I don't think that's necessarily bad, that what we're doing now. It wasn't the format back then, and it's no longer... I think the one negative I could say about it is we've lost an aspect of YouTube that I miss, and that is the personal aspect. I think it kind of goes away when you start to make it more like shows. So, yeah, while the idea of independent created shows is awesome, and that the fact that we can compete with the major companies on this front is incredible, it's not the YouTube I got into. And it wasn't I never wanted to make a video show. I did make an audio podcast back in the day that was related to music, but I don't know enough about video editing, and I'm too lazy to learn all that stuff. And I wanted my channel to simply be... I wanted to join some sort of community that shared the same passions I did about video games, and be a part of that, and share my thoughts with the world, and just be a guy in front of a camera. And I have kept that format all this time, despite the fact that I no longer post a lot of content or a lot of videos anymore. I don't like the term content when it comes to what I'm doing, but anyway. So I got into YouTube because I wanted to make videos sharing my thoughts about my love for video games, because gaming at the time was like interactive movies. Mass Effect, Batman Arkham series, Red Dead Redemption, GTA 4 and 5, the campaigns, In addition to the PlayStation exclusives like Uncharted and The Last of Us, many of these games had different game mechanics, but they were still cinematic. And it was awesome. And that was what got me back into gaming. I was like, wow, this is like playing a movie. I need to get into this. What is gaming like today? Well, with the exception of Sony's the only, on average, now this year has been a bit of an anomaly because we had Alan Wake 2 and Baldur's Gate 3, but usually Sony is usually the only major publisher of these types of story-driven experiences. And it used to be like these types of games would be like a diamond all the time. Now they're much more rare, and Sony's usually the only one that puts stuff like this out. Nintendo still does Nintendo, and I like that they're bringing a lot of my favorite 7th gen games portably. But most third-party games are about monetization. They're no longer about telling a story. They're about monetization. And also, I got to start talking. Now, here's my multiplayer mini rant type thing. Multiplayer used to be fun because it was about people talking to each other and hanging out. And there was bullying, unfortunately. And while some of the trash talk can be entertaining, but at the same time, it can go way too far. The idea of multiplayer was you got to listen to people talk. That was the point. You played Call of Duty. You bought Call of Duty every year because you wanted to keep up with your friends. And not only that, you wanted to just hear the conversations because they, in a weird, messed up way, were kind of entertaining to some people. That was why it was popular. And just multiplayer in general was popular, in my opinion, and great, in my opinion, because of the sense of community. Because everybody was talking to each other and interacting with each other. The conversations, the chats, the in-game chats, they were the point. The gameplay was icing on the cake. It gave your eyes and hands something to do while you were hanging out. That's why the Call of Duty mechanics in multiplayer are so basic. And why that worked. It kept your hands and eyes busy, but your main focus was the conversations. What is multiplayer like today? Dead. Here's the thing about multiplayer. It is too hard for me. It is extremely difficult. And for a lot of people, I'm sure that is because you have to dedicate yourself to a particular game over and over to stay good at it. And if you don't jump on it early enough, you're gonna be like everyone's gonna be like a billion levels above you. But at least you had the conversational aspect. You had the social aspect. That's gone now, thanks to in-game voice acts. Unless you've got friends that play that game already, you're not going to meet anyone new because you're just going to be playing. You're just going to go on a multiplayer game, die a lot, and not even talk to anybody. So the point of multiplayer is gone, in my opinion, for a lot of games. And they, instead of being fun, they're more about engagement and charging you as much as possible and putting addictive practices in them. Games are about monetization, and I think a lot of that has to do with the fact that game publishers no longer consider the gamer their target audience. Their target audience are shareholders. What happened was gaming was great, so it got popular because it was great. Then what happens? Wall Street gets involved. Shareholders get involved. And also the prices, and part of that also is because as technology advances, the price goes up. The prices go up for developing and creating games. That's all it takes, and they take longer to make. They're more expensive, and shareholders have become the target audience of publishers over the gamer. As a result, most third-party titles are they're mid at best or worse, or they're released broken and patched later to meet deadlines. It's the corporatization of gaming that has made me lose a lot of interest in the format. And now the disappearance of physical media on top of that, I've been holding this in, but I'm going to say this right here. I've been considering quitting gaming after this generation. This generation is going to be my last generation, unless major changes happen, or maybe I know that this year has been great, but this year is not the norm. This year used to be the norm. Now, the last time we've had a gaming year this good was in 2017. In other words, it's the exception now. Now, is it possible that maybe with the success of Elden Ring and Baldur's Gate 3 that the standards have been raised to the point where maybe we can get back to having 2023s every year? That would be awesome. 2023 has been a fantastic year for gaming and diverse set. And not to mention, we had a third-party publisher and developer, put out a story-driven game a week after Sony put out their big story-driven game. Like Alan Wake 2 was like a week after Spider-Man. That used to be the norm. For fans like me who like story-driven stuff, that was the norm. And it's not like that anymore. So between all of that and YouTube becoming more about content and making your own shows rather than just posting, turning on a camera and talking, it's made me lose a lot of interest. And I'm breaking my heart to that. And also, VR, as exciting as the tech behind it is, isn't being utilized to its full potential because people are refusing to make hybrid games because the cycle is, we'll make games when there's a bigger market for it, and the people are like, we'll buy VR when there's more games. So there's this endless cycle of nothingness, and we're throwing away a great technology, and we're missing out on a huge opportunity here. And we're not taking full advantage of it because this, to me, could have been the shot in the arm that gaming needed with virtual reality, but it's not being utilized that way, unfortunately. It's barely being utilized at all, really. The narrative is that there's no games. Even though there are games, they're not, must-have, games. So, yeah, again, it's just another example of, I feel like the tech came out too late. At the same time, I also feel like the portable VR became a thing too quickly. And that's another topic for another video. But I'm just sort of giving my reasons why I haven't been posting stuff on this channel very often. And at the end of the day is that gaming just isn't at the place where I would like it to be, or at least where it was, and where I would like it to be, where it could be. And it breaks my heart because I love the idea of interactive storytelling and playing pretend and being a part of these figures of fiction, whether it's on flat screen or in VR or portably. Game preservation I also think is important, and that's something that media preservation in general is something that corporations are frowning upon because they figured out how valuable it is, and they want to exploit it and change it and to try not to offend certain people or whatever, and that's a mistake too. And that's another topic I can go into, the politicization and divisiveness of games media and all that. Different topic, different time. But I just wanted to say overall that, man, the gaming landscape today, even though 2023 was a great year, it just hasn't been the same as it was a decade ago when I started this channel. So I've lost a lot of interest in posting content or posting videos because I just, as you can see, I still love gaming and I love anime, I love nerd culture and all of that. But man, anyway, this channel's still gonna. I don't know if I'm gonna make another video. I have ideas for more videos, and I may make them in the future. Or how long? I don't know. But I definitely will keep regardless of whether this is my last video or not, or if I make more. Regardless of what happens from here, the channel will stay up as long as YouTube allows it to. So yeah, sorry if you guys want more content, but I just haven't been as excited as I used to be about covering gaming and stuff. Not to mention also the gaming media landscape online is just so much bigger now. There really isn't a need for channels like mine anymore. Anyway, I'll talk to you guys later, hopefully. We'll see. And if not, then thanks for watching. Anyway, so, bye.